Ukraine's offensive deep inside Russia has raised doubts among the Russian elites. This was announced by the head of the American intelligence and the British intelligence MI6. Also, in the meantime, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said that it would be the right time to conduct negotiations with Russia and to invite Russia to the second Global Peace Summit, which would be organized by the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. At the same time, there are a new poll from the New York Times which is saying that Kamala Harris has the same polling results as Donald Trump in the swing states. And the key question for today's program is what does Western intelligence, the main intelligence agencies, think about Ukraine's offensive deep inside Russia, and why is the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is calling to organize peaceful negotiations between Ukraine and Russia, and is calling to invite Russia to the Global Peace Summit. At the big event hosted by the Financial Times, two heads of the two leading intelligence agencies of the world, William Burns, the CIA director, and head of the British MI6, Richard Moore, issued a joint statement on the state of the Ukraine's offensive deep inside the Russian territory. Head of the CIA, William Burns, said that Ukraine's offensive inside Russia has achieved a great tactical victory, and it was a significant tactical achievement by the Ukrainian side, according to the CIA's William Burns. And also this offensive deep inside Russia has raised great doubts among Russian elite and among the Putin's inner circle about where it's all headed, and about what it all would lead to, what this war against Ukraine would lead to. And there are lots of doubts among Russian elites. And also the British MI6 head of the British MI6, Richard Moore, said that Russian elite thinks that it was a typical bold step on the part of Ukrainians to try to invade Russian territory. And he said that this offensive aimed to be a game changer. This offensive aimed to change the game of the war. And also CIA Director William Burns exposed and outlined the Western policy regarding the Russian nuclear bluff. William Burns said that it would be important for Western leaders not to be intimidated by the Russian nuclear threats. Also, he remembered the previous nuclear threats from Russian dictator Vladimir Putin. He said that there would be the possibility of Russia using tactical nuclear weapons in the 2022. However, there were secret negotiations between the United States and Russia, and Biden administration warned Russia against using tactical nuclear weapons, saying that it would lead to a catastrophic, devastating consequences for the Russian side. Also, the Institute of Study of War, in the meantime, reported that it was a Russian bluff. According to the analysts from the Institute of Study of War, Russia has been bluffing about the nuclear escalation, about the possibility of a global nuclear war, because Russia aimed to use this fear of escalation, to use this fear of the global nuclear war, to use this fear among Americans, among British people, to use this fear and to play on this fear to deter the West to fully support Ukraine, and to deter, to undermine the Western support for Ukraine. Institute of Study of War came to conclusion that this all nuclear threats from the Russian side were a part of the special information operation which was conducted by the Kremlin, and this operation aimed to undermine the Western support for Ukraine and aimed to spread the fear of the global nuclear war in case of the strong support for Ukraine by the Western capitals. And this information has been reported by the Institute of Study of War. Meanwhile, the former commander of the US troops in Europe, General Ben Hodges, said that Russian dictator Vladimir Putin would be removed from power, removed from his office by his oligarchs and the inner circle. This statement was made during his interview with the Sun. Also, General Hodges said that that's all would be because of the Western sanctions against Russia. He said that Russian oligarchs would be tired and exhausted due to the Western sanctions against Russia, and they would force Putin to end the war unless he would be removed from the office. He said that these oligarchs would force and would dethrone Russian dictator Vladimir Putin unless he ends the war in Ukraine. And this all because of the Western sanctions and the Western other restrictions which were imposed by the Russian Federation after the beginning of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Also, he emphasized that this pressure should be continued, and he said that the main goal of the West, of the Western strategy on the support for Ukraine, should be the victory of Ukraine. That's why General Hodges said that the West should support Ukraine, should strengthen support for Ukraine, and strengthen Western sanctions and Western power and Western pressure on Russia to put Putin in such position when he would not have any other choice but to end the war in Ukraine. And according to General Hodges, Russian oligarchs would force Putin to do so unless he would be removed from the office. Also, the former British Defense Minister, Shapps, said that the West should allow Ukraine to strike deep inside Russia, and according to the Shapps, this permission should be provided immediately because it is critical time in the war. Former British Minister Shapps said that London should provide Ukraine the possibility to use Storm Shadow cruise missiles to strike deep inside Russia. Also, even without the permission from the United States of America. Also, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has been urging the United States and its allies to provide Ukraine with this permission to strike deep inside the Russian soil. And this week, President Zelensky will meet with US President Joe Biden. Zelensky will ask President Biden to allow Ukraine to strike deep inside the Russian territory, and The Economist reported that it would be the last hope for President Zelensky, the last try, because President Biden would not run for re-election. There are also only the last months of his presidential office, so he would work as a president for the several months. However, it would be the last try for President Zelensky to try to persuade President Biden to allow Ukraine to strike deep inside the Russian soil. In the meantime, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz says that he supports Russia to be invited at the second Global Peace Summit. He said that it would be important and it would be a right time to do so. According to Olaf Scholz, it would be the right time to conduct secret and open negotiations with the Russian side at the Global Peace Summit. The Global Peace Summit would organized by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. It is Ukrainian President's strategy to organize such a peace summit and to force Russia. The aim of the strategy is to force Russia to conduct negotiations in a good faith with Ukraine and to end the war in Ukraine on normal terms, on adequate terms, on proper terms, appropriate terms for Ukraine, and to end this war and to ensure the lasting peace and just peace for Ukraine. And let's end our conversation with the recent result of the recent polls from the United States. The New York Times and Siena College reported that former US President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris have the equal results in lots of swing states. However, Kamala Harris leads Trump in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, but in Nevada, Georgia, North Carolina, and Arizona, both candidates have 48% of the support from the American voters. That's all for today. Subscribe on our YouTube channel, stay with us on YouTube, and glory to Ukraine!